Okay, there we go. I'm going to share my screen too. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start out talking about keeping kids engaged. We know that almost all school districts are going to be in distance learning this year, um, at least to start out. So we want to make sure that as, you know, adults, and as there's many, households in this area, particularly with two working parents, we wanted to give some tips on how they can help manage their full-time jobs alongside of helping their kids with their distance learning. So here's just a few tips that I have. Now, of course, you can't always predict, just like we had just now, issues with technology. That's something that is something that can't be avoided. But hopefully some of these tips will be helpful. Um, it's difficult with the younger kids because they have a lot more needs, and typically the older ones, what people are encountering with the older ones is that is keeping them engaged, keeping them excited about learning when they just do not, some of them just do not respond well in a distance learning format. So we're going to talk, oh, I skipped one, hold on. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce my bio. I'm going to tell you about the tips to keep kids engaged. Then I'm going to turn it over to Hitesh. He's going to share a little bit about himself, show some sample activities, and talk about Stemtree and how Stemtree can be a resource for parents. As you know, as the education realm keeps evolving. Okay. So this is me. I've been 13 years in Loudoun County Public Schools as a teacher. I'm the placement coordinator at the Academies of Loudoun. I have a bachelor's degree in communications and 2 master's degrees in education. And I'm a member of the Dulles Chamber, and that is the organization that is sponsoring this event. The education committee is something that I'm a part of, as well as Yvonne and Joanne, as well as Hitesh. And we are providing this as a service to our students, to the general public, and all the members of the chamber. I do have a husband, and I have 3 sons. 2 are in college, 1 is in high school. So I'm also coming to this from the perspective of a parent. So these are the couple things that we came up with as far as the tips to keep kids engaged. Set expectations, establish routine, physical space, designated area for school, setting that up. It takes a village, and this is not forever. So the first tip is setting expectations. It's really important that with any age group, you want to make sure that you meet collectively as a family and you work together to create and establish rules. Those rules are going to be extra important, and it's not so much the importance of establishing rules for the work day and the school day as it is in being consistent in enforcing rules. I think one of the areas where teachers really excel is that they have 25 to 30 kids that they have to manage on a daily basis, and they have to maintain rules and order in the classroom. So really good teachers with great classroom management will make the expectations of how the school day is going to flow very apparent to students from day one, and they will reinforce them regularly throughout the school year. I'm suggesting here that you get a poster board or a large piece of paper or something, and the whole family is going to talk about what the rules are going to be and decide on them ahead of time. Everybody has input, and when things go awry, you refer back to the rules as much as possible to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. As far as create the handle a problem rule, this is something that very effective teachers use regularly. We want to always reinforce problem solving with our students. We have the ability to, every time they run into a roadblock, they want to have you come over right away and help them with something. Well, in a traditional classroom, a teacher, when they have 25 to 30 students, they cannot always get to every single student, and they reinforce the handle a problem rule. And this can be very effective to use at home as well. And what that is there's a number of different things that you should train the students to try before they bug mom or dad. They know that mom and dad are trying to do their jobs as well at home, and some of the things that you can reinforce with the students, with your son or daughter at home, before they call you over to help them with something. Make a list. Did you look something up? Did you possibly send an email to a friend to try to get some help? Did you reach out to the teacher to get some help? Did you, if you're having a technology problem, did you try to, go out of the call and then come back in and see if that helps? So basically, you're teaching your child to not resort to going directly to you without checking off other things on the list that they can troubleshoot before they interrupt you in your work. Now, it's going to happen. We're all dealing with that situation right now. We all have children at home that are going to need assistance, and obviously the younger ones are going to need more. But it's all, again, important to have those expectations. And one of the most important expectations is that, I'm not going to be at your disposal sitting right next to you 24/7. And they don't have that at school either. So that's not something that should be really unusual for them. They don't have a teacher at their disposal working one-on-one with them the entire school day. Sometimes they have to figure things out on their own, and that's okay, to make sure that they exhaust all those other possibilities before they interrupt you while you're trying to do your work. And like I said, being consistent with enforcing the rules. I mean, I think that's one area where things can go awry is you start out with the best of intentions, and then before you know it, chaos is evolving and reigning in your home. So that's something that is so important, to follow the rules every single day and reinforce the rules every day. Okay, establish routine. Get up at the same time every morning. Don't say, oh, we're going to sleep in till 10 today, and we'll catch up later on whatever we missed. I think if I'm speaking just for Loudoun County Public Schools, let me know. But from what I understand, attendance is going to count in the fall, as are grades. So I want to make sure that I'm setting the alarm. We're getting up. We're doing our morning routine just like we would be if we were leaving the house to go to school. And we're going to do that the same time and in the same way that we've always done that. We're going to create a set of rules, which we talked about, for how the day is going to go. So, we're going to build in a schedule. Possibly could, also print that on a large piece of paper and, have that posted in a visible space throughout the home where, sorry, my dog is whining. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, so you want to also build in exercise. One of the biggest concerns that parents are having with their students being online for the whole day is that they're not physically moving. Their eyes are glued to a screen. They're not going to get any kind of, physical activity in. And that's something that is crucial to them, their well-being, their focus. They need to start out at the or have it at some point in the day. If you can't start it out in the morning, at least get some sort of physical activity in. Even if you take them outside and you go for a walk around the neighborhood, or you go for to go out and throw the ball for a little bit. Something where they can get a little of that energy out and then come back in and focus and be set and ready for the day. And of course end the day with reading. That's a given. As teachers, we always build that into everything. Reading should happen every single day with consistency, beginning or end of day. The morning meeting is something that I also think is a good idea when the family is getting ready to start the day in the morning. Maybe you're sitting down over breakfast and you're saying, okay, don't forget, mom has a meeting that I'm going to be on a conference call at 10 a.m. So at 10 a.m., that's when you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. And you review the day's schedule ahead. And you reinforce the rules at that time as well. And that means, you talk to the student, to your son or daughter about, again, what did we say about, interrupting? What are we going to check off our list before we come and get mom and dad? We're going to try this, 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 and this, okay? And we're going to do the best we can. If we can't, then you're going to wait patiently for me to join you when I can, okay? Kids thrive when they know what to expect. This is so important. So many parents do not take the time, or they think that they're rewarding kids by kind of letting them do what they want, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is, kids want to know what to expect. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel secure when they know what a day is going to look like, or what an activity that's coming up is going to look like. We're experiencing a lot of anxiety with kids right now, a lot of uncertainty about what the year is going to look like, and honestly, a lot of depression from the isolation. So the more positive parents can present this option, on how the day is going to flow and everything, and the more they can reinforce the routine, the better kids are going to feel about it. Okay. And, there's been a lot of parents that are very upset about what's happening in with the school system. I get it. I'm a working parent. I'm past the point where my children need me to be sitting next to them for their schoolwork, but I can only imagine, 5 years ago, what this would have looked like for me. So I really empathize with the parents that are going to try to be working from home as well as supporting their children in their education. But it can be done. Parents do it all the time. There are lots of homeschooling parents out there that do a really great job of maintaining, you know, a an environment where their children are working beside them, getting their schoolwork done, and they can still be effective in their full-time jobs. Um, okay, tip number 3, physical space. Uh, you need a designated area for the kids to work. And what that looks like is not, it doesn't have to be super expensive. You don't have to go out and buy, new furniture and all kinds of school supplies, but it just has to be a designated space. And it can be something as simple as, a card table with all of their supplies lined up on the table. And they know exactly where they're going every morning, and that's where they're going to work. This is really especially important for those younger kids who like to who really get excited about school. You can almost make it a game. So, you can tell the young ones that you're going to be playing office today with mommy or daddy, and we're going to be playing office, you're going to play school, and this is how we're going to work through the morning. So you can make it fun for them in that respect, but they really do need a consistent, regular space that they work at to do their schoolwork. And they need to have all of their supplies right in front of them where they need them. One of the more difficult things that we found with kids during this time, since we've been in distance learning, is for the older kids. They're having trouble staying engaged. We need to make sure that they are not only seeing, and understanding why this year is going to be different than it was in the spring when we did distance learning, but we need to have a vision board for them. And that's something that I think can really help a student. If you're not familiar with vision boards, they can be for both boys and girls. Look them up on Pinterest, and there's all different kinds of vision boards out there. This is something I love to do in the classroom, and I think, especially when I'm working with kids on careers, on different things that they want to see, goals that they want to see themselves achieving for the future. Vision boards are a great way to do that. So the idea of the vision board is that you have them put pictures of things that reflect their goals. And the idea is that you're going to use this as motivation for them to continue and work hard through school. They could be, maybe, they're a freshman in high school, and their long-term goal is to go to UVA or Virginia Tech. So maybe you put, the school's logos on the vision board. And you keep constantly helping your student refer back to that vision board, to remind them, hey, you know what? We talked about this. This is your goal, to get here, to get to UVA or get to Virginia Tech. And in order to do that, you have to do step 1, 2, and 3. So let's make it a good day, and we're going to work really hard on school. And then, later on, we'll go out for a walk or go do something together as a family. Okay.
Hey, Kim, we did it with a bunch of the business owners
Oh,
in
good.
Herndon. And
Awesome.
I was like, sure, go ahead, try it. Who's going to do a vision board? I didn't say that, but I'm thinking, who's going to do a vision board? We had to turn people away. And we had one of the guys that owns multiple hotels was the most into it. So it's a wonderful vision. It's a wonderful tool, and people just love it. Once you start into it, you just got to break the ice and get into it. That's a great idea.
No, it is, and it works well, and especially for kids, because especially for those kids that are really visual learners, if you put it in a place where they, like I said, you have that designated space for them to work. This spring we did personally, even in my house, I let my son work in his room because I knew he was going to get his work done. We didn't really have an issue with that, but there are a lot of kids who are saying to their parents, oh yeah, mom, I'm getting all my work done. And they do it up in their room, and you have no idea what's going on, whether they're getting it done or not. And lo and behold, they just spent 3 hours, playing Xbox. So, making sure that they're in a very designated area and in a public area of the household. I would just strongly discourage them saying, well, I need to be in my room to do my homework. Well, I would not have that happen. Personally, in my house, I just think it's easier to separate your school space versus their bedrooms, where that's kind of like their sanctuary. I think it makes them feel more official, like, okay, we're in school mode now because I'm sitting in this space and this is where my schoolwork happens. And then you post that vision board right above their school space, and they can constantly be looking at it and reminding them of, this is why I need to work hard in school, because I want I want to be able to achieve these things. So that's just a little tip that I enjoy. I like doing that with my students a lot. And like I said, make sure they have everything they need at their fingertips. Don't make sure, they have to run upstairs to go get some markers or, dig through the kitchen drawer to get their scissors. Make sure everything is designated in a neat little space, just like if they were in the classroom. All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit here because I want to get to Hitesh and his information about Stemtree. Tip number 4, it takes a village. I think nowadays we've come to a place where we don't rely as much on other people for things. I think during COVID, one of the things that has gotten much better is that we are coming together as a community more. And I really feel like, we've been dealt a terrible hand with COVID. But I think, and especially with the kids going to school, but it's not the end of the world. I think if you collaborate with friends and neighbors, create, pick days. Like, for example, I have 4 really good friends in the neighborhood that have children the same age as my children. And we're all going to rotate days where we have all 4 kids come to one of our homes and they're going to work on their schoolwork. And a lot of times what happens when you do that is they kind of, it's sort of like the peer pressure of it. They kind of reinforce that the work with each other. So that's okay to do too. If you feel like your student would work better with a collaborative team, there are different ways. We're not going to school because we don't want kids to be sick. But nobody said a few students couldn't get together and collaborate in a home where maybe it would keep them more focused and make them look forward to their learning a little bit more. Rely on siblings, grandparents. There's lots of online resources for students if they're really struggling. We can, help them out with additional ways to learn something if what they're getting from their teacher isn't quite, resonating and sinking in. And then, there's also, the science and math and STEM help in related businesses like the one Hitesh is going to talk about. And finally, this is not forever. And I have to remind I actually have a colleague that I reminded this of today. She's very stressed and she has a lot of anxiety. She has children in middle school, elementary school, and then she has a 2-year-old. And she's trying to do her job effectively as a school counselor for high school, but she doesn't know what she's going to do with her children. And I actually said this to her today. This is it's temporary. It's going to pass. And relax and go easy on your kids. That's the big thing. I think we're getting very, very anxious about what it's going to look like. And I think it's important to know that it's okay to let some things go right now. If everybody's in the same boat, we're all working from home, we're all relying on technology to be our friend. Everybody else has kids and animals climbing on them while they're trying to do their full-time job. And we're just going to all do the best we can. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Hitesh and he can talk a little bit about himself and Stemtree.
So Kim, you'll drive the slides. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So before I get into who am I, and I'll just add a few tips as an instructor and as a consultant, as a director at Stemtree. I think what we did for our instructors is basically added a few tools like storytelling. Storytelling plays an important role when you are teaching a kid about science and math. Science and math are not super interesting subjects, but if you can start with a story, that definitely helps. The second tool, which I really liked, is any Zoom, WebEx, or any of this meeting software. They actually have built these software to have a lot of tools. Like you can raise a hand using, I think John just did that a few minutes back. He raised his hand, or exactly, thumbs up. So students, when they are engaged and when there is a big group of 20 plus people, definitely the instructor shows all these tools before he or she starts the instruction. And that keeps them engaged. The third thing which we really liked is basically asking them about their day. What did they do yesterday? Did they learn anything? Were they able to apply those concepts, whatever they learned at school? And then give them rewards. I mean, not the same day, but rewards of some kind. And those rewards can be, all right, you can submit your homework 1 day late. We'll give you we'll give you a robotics kit, which is like a $2 or $5 thing. But they go and brag to 5 other students. And that's the kind of rewards which help and also keep them engaged. Other than that, I think it's, as Kim mentioned, it is a hard time. And we had a lot of students who were coming to our center, and now we have transitioned them to online, so that FaceTime has definitely gone down, but they still know that Mr. Mark is here, Miss Sarah is here, and as long as you have that consistent face, the kids are engaged, the kids want someone they can trust. So I think as long as we are able to do that, and definitely storytelling helps. So as long as you're able to do that, definitely that keeps them engaged. Sorry about my 1960 look. I haven't been to a salon since March. So this is the look I don't enjoy, but unfortunately, yeah, that's what it is.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So just a little bit about me. I've worked for companies like Deloitte, USAID, Food and Drug Administration, National Institute of Health, Microsoft, Gartner, to name a few. Been in this area for the last 20 years, did my master's in computer science at GW, also my MBA at GW. Last year, actually, we started Stemtree of Ashburn. I've been in the consulting business for some time, and John was actually there. John really helped out with the grand opening, so thank you for that. And Kim has been super helpful with all the hiring. We are hiring a lot of students from Academy of Sciences, so definitely thanks a lot. And Kim is a superstar. The moment I say that I need people, like, the resumes keep coming, and I have to literally stop. I have to say, all right, no more. But Kim has helped us a lot, so really thank you for that. And for arranging this as well. Really appreciate that, Kim.
Uh-huh.
Next slide, please.
Okay.
So yeah, we will actually show these activities. These are all the links. These are all the videos. We'll cover this at the end, so that, or do you wanna just show one, if you don't mind, Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can have the very first one. If that's okay.
Okay. I have them open here on my desktop.
Okay.
This is the first one.
Is it, otherwise I can present it from my side.
Hold on, sorry.
Tash, I'm still trying to wonder what's wrong with the 60s.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong in 60s. I should thank God that I still have some hair. So yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
especially on the sides. All right, so we can.
Let me just pull this up. I don't know why. Can you see it, or?
No, it's partial. It's a half screen actually. All right, and then you can yeah, perfect. And then maybe start from the, if you don't mind.
What's that?
It's okay. It's in the middle, but that's fine. Well, the sound actually went away, but just to give you a few examples, so science, coding, electrical engineering, math, and these are the programs which are covered in with one fees. There are no separate fees or separate programs for that. I mean, the kids. So I can maybe we'll cover the other videos later, but if we can go back to the tech.
Yep. Sorry, I gotta.
And sorry for troubling you. I thought it would be
Okay.
easier not to transition from one person to the other. But as I was saying, so we can go to the next slide.
Okay.
All right, so why Stemtree? And I won't get into the pitch of we are unique or we are discovering everything from scratch or we are doing something unique or we have a secret sauce. None of that. So science and math, grade based. We do an initial assessment to know what areas a kid is good at. So let's say second grade science, there are 15 topics. Out of the 15 topics, the kid is not good in 3 topics. So we'll create a custom learning plan and have activities around that topic. That topic can be photosynthesis. That topic can be concept of siphoning. That topic can be concept of internal combustion engine. That concept can be any gravitational force, anything of that sort. We have activities around that in order to make sure that the kid understands those concepts. And once all those concepts where the gaps are covered, the kid takes the completion plan to get to the completion assessment to get to the next level. Same goes for math. For electrical engineering, robotics, and coding, we have 3 levels: basic, intermediate, and advanced. A person who has never done coding will start at the basic level. And like I showed in the video, everything is graphical user interface. So a kid who has never done coding will actually use a sprite or a cartoon character to learn the concepts of how to move that cartoon character through a maze, how to move that cartoon character like through maybe a 90-degree turn, take 2 steps back, take 2 steps ahead. Robotics, we use Lego, EV3 and VDO is the kit, which is universal. And we expose kids to these assembly where they actually assemble all the Lego parts. And then there is a sensor which lets the software talk to the hardware. I have another video which I'll show you. That's how they basically learn about problem solving, critical thinking, and engineering. We have electrical and electronics engineering as well, where we have kits which are used to create a fan, create things like remote controls, create things like remote for sprinkler system. And I'm talking about all these projects which we have done at Stemtree. So not only are they learning about problem solving, critical thinking, at the same time, they have that sense of accomplishment as well, that I created this. And of course, they have fun while learning as well, because there is this peer pressure as well. This kid created a robotic car. Now I have to create a catapult of some kind. Any questions? Next slide, please. All right, so the person on the right is my professor from GW, Dr. Bell, who created this franchise and who is a very good friend. He was my professor at GW in 2000 as well. So without getting into what all awards we have won, basically we were nominated, and we did win the award in the categories of Best STEM Program, Best Summer Camp, and Best Education Center in the following years. Next, please. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, we have after-school programs at center and virtual as well, and then after-school programs at schools as well. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, our after-school programs at school we had to cut short, but we had close to 15 schools in Loudoun and Fairfax County where we offer our after-school programs. Now we are doing, most of our programs are virtual, but as Kim mentioned, the concept of pods is catching up, where 3 or 4 students go to someone's house and take turns. We are supporting pods, and we are giving group discounts for pods as well. Our fall specials and group discount for pods, there is a link at the bottom which can be leveraged. Other than that, we have one-on-one tutoring for biology, physics, chemistry, math, and computer science, and we actually let kids participate in Olympiads, math and science Olympiad, and computer science examinations. We also do science-based birthday parties, which have been really successful, really popular. Next, please. Okay. All right. So it's me and Pawan. Pawan is my good friend from India, and we know each other for the last 21 plus years. We did our master's in computer science, different schools. He has a master's in computer science as well. He went to UNC Chapel Hill, and we are the center directors managing Stemtree of Ashburn. But we have 10 instructors who actually go through a rigorous training program before they start teaching at Stemtree of Ashburn. They have to clear instructor assessments before they can teach at Stemtree. And then, as I mentioned, the curriculum was created by Dr. Bell, who's a good friend, and he has a PhD in computer science. He's still a professor at GW. Next, please. So it's a franchise, as I mentioned, and the good thing about franchise is you're not restricted to one center. You are learning from other centers as well. The curriculum is updated on a regular basis, the latest and greatest. So we also have curriculum in data science, AI, robotics, to name a few, and Internet of Things. And I think it's these terms, these keywords, I mean, when you hear them, you're like, wow, this must be super complex. But the earlier we expose our kids to these technologies, and our kids are exposed. The moment they are born, they have an iPad in their hand. Gone are the days where I remember when I was a kid, I mean, I was exposed to the PC when I was maybe 14 or 13, 14. And I remember I did my schooling in India, and we used to have PCs in an air-conditioned room. The rest of the school was not air-conditioned, but the PC room was air-conditioned. You had to take off your shoes in order to enter that room, because there were all kinds of stories that if there is dust from shoes, that dust from shoes can enter the CPU and it can damage the CPU. So it was funny. And now my 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, like my older son, basically at the age of 4 or so, he was like, I need a laptop. This laptop is not good enough. I need a Mac. Like, okay, all right. So yeah, coming back to the point, we have a nationwide network. We are managing the Ashburn area, and also pretty soon we plan to open, hopefully, in Sterling as well with the demand. So the growth is there, and we are getting good response from the kids, especially now the virtual learning has really picked up. But definitely need your help in spreading the word and increasing the virtual learning, and definitely STEM is the way to go. I mean, because of science, we are surviving now. I mean, in this time. So science is and always has been a savior. So definitely, it's important, and we should respect science. Next slide, please. These are testimonials. These are on our website as well. I'll skip this slide. I mean, so yeah, this is our address. We are actually, and John, you know, I mean, we are in the new Goose Creek Village, the phase 2, across from what is it? The grocery store.
Harris Teeter.
Harris Teeter, exactly. Across from Harris Teeter. It's a pretty good shopping center. It's very convenient. It has access to the new metro shuttle, and it has access to the bus stops, which take you directly to DC. Very good shopping center, but our virtual programs are really picking up, and really would appreciate if you guys spread the word. Thank you. Any questions for me or Kim? Questions about how to keep your kids engaged? Definitely Kim as the expert. I'll let her answer, or if I can answer, I will answer.
Hi, Tesh, I'll throw in. So one of the concerns I have is the haves and have-nots, the folks that have parents that can help them, and
Sure.
the other folks that can't. Do you have scholarships, or is there a way to reach out to some of the folks that may not be exposed to STEM?
Yes, absolutely. And we actually, the franchisor, recently started a nonprofit organization called Stemtree for All. And basically what it does is, for the underprivileged kids, they can apply or they can nominate a student using that. And we will basically take it from there and sponsor, I don't know if it's for the entire month or for the school year, but definitely look us up. It's called stemtreeforall.com, and you can nominate an underprivileged student. Ultimately, that's the goal, to spread the STEM. Reduce that.
That's really exciting, Hitesh. Last year, so we've got the Hispanic Business Council. They've been around. We do a reception every year for 17 years. And last year we had 3 speakers. One of them was a senior VP at a top company around here. The other 2 were CEOs of their own company, all with Hispanic, escaped, horrible conditions, came here with English as a second language. Right. And each one told the story and went, "You just told my story," because they couldn't speak English. So they were all in on the sciences and the math because they didn't have to worry about English. They could talk in equations, and they just excelled at it. And so right now we've got the worst graduation rate for Hispanic males in the Herndon High School. And I think they just need to be exposed to these kinds of capabilities, especially when you put them in ways that they can learn coding. It's not something that they automatically think they're disadvantaged. And as a chamber, we've been really forcing this. I'm so excited about that program, and we'll have to see what we can do to help you out. And I'm not sure if Dr. Canfield's available, but one time I was coaching for a number of years, and the high school had a clinic for all the grammar school coaches that were helping these kids play ball. And I was like, why would you take all this time to teach us how to hold a basketball, how to throw a baseball? They're like, because if you guys do a great job as coaches for these grammar school kids, we can just excel in high school. And I think with Dr. Canfield at the college level, it's exciting to see us setting the base for K through 12 with STEM, so she gets a better product on the back end as well.
Absolutely. And that's why, see, our goal is to make it fun at an age. As a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, if you like something exciting, you will continue, isn't it? If you have that phobia against science and math, math is very tough, science is very tough, it's not even fun, then and honestly, to be honest, thank God that I'm here, because when they say, India produces good scientists, good mathematicians, and all these, but the way kids are taught in school in US is much better. And the teachers are much better as well. They are engaging. They talk as human beings. not as authoritarian or dictator teachers. They actually engage with kids on a one-on-one level, on a personal level. So, which is very important, that the kids, you get that feedback as well. Hey, how did I teach? Hey, did you learn? So same goes. So science and math, there has been a phobia that it's complex, it is not that fun. And if you add the experiments, hey, let's try that. Let's create something out of these three or four chemicals. Like during the Christmas time, we had people fill like their ornaments with different things using chemicals. And I don't remember exactly what was the composition. And then using shaving cream, they also had these fun activities, the ornaments for the Christmas tree. So it's just a matter of making it fun, making it simplistic, so that kids start enjoying it and get more engaged.
That's great.
And that's what we try to enforce at Stemtree.
Well, you see that when you go in your sites too. We're so honored to have the ribbon cutting, but it's just exciting. You can see all the folks that, from the students to the parents, they just enjoy being there. It's sad that they're not able to enjoy the actual facility, but it's all up here, right? It's just like golf.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was super proud of the science lab because, see, I mean, all those schools have these science labs, but they just use that science lab for the 30, 35, 40 minutes, whatever that period is, the science period. But they don't actually get to enjoy all those chemicals or the test tubes or the different experiments other than that science period. So that's why we wanted kids to have that extra time so that they can do their experiments in our science lab.
Well, and one of the things that we know from our school is that we don't nearly have enough students that are minorities or underserved in populations at the academies of Loudoun. And we realize this as a district, and we are implementing different programs. It's so important, like you said, if you can get them excited at an early age, they are much more likely to pursue programs like the ones that we have at the academies of Loudoun than if you never, introduce them to it early on in their schooling. We're trying to create programs for, first, second, third grade. We want them doing robotics. And we, for the first time, we have a computer science supervisor now who is responsible for infusing and immersing students in computer science as young as kindergarten. So if we don't do it then, which are the most impressionable years for education, especially in the sciences, we're not going to get the workforce that we need out of these students, because they're not going to pursue these careers long term. So it has to start way, way, way early. And that love of, the sciences and inquiry has to start when they're, just starting their education.
Absolutely. So Kim, talking about that, I know it's 4:58. We don't have can we just quickly show the robotics video?
Yeah, I think Barb Canfield has a quick question.
Yeah, sure. I just, the one thing, I know it's really important to capture interest at the early age, but I'm also going to say equally, if not more important, is keeping them engaged through the middle school years, especially female students, because all of a sudden science and math, for whatever reason, aren't cool anymore, especially for women. So I think that's another thing, because when they get to the college level, we still see it in computer science that the majority of the students who are majoring in computer science are males. And so there's still work to be done, but I love that there are more community opportunities like yours. So I think this is really exciting.
Yes.
So Barb, actually, I was at Deloitte and Deloitte for a few years, and Deloitte has actually STEM. It's called STEM in Girls or STEM Women
Girls in
Initiative.
STEM. Yeah.
Girls in STEM, and they actually have a comic book dedicated to women in STEM. It's a character called Ella, Ella, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Like nowadays, with all these consulting and technology companies, they are definitely encouraging women to actually pursue those STEM fields. I'll share some of those links with you.
Right.
Great.
Okay, which one are we looking at here?
Oh, the robotics one, which I had shared earlier. Oh,
This one?
Yeah, this one is fine. Yeah, this one is good. So there was another one, but this is okay. So this was a catapult which was created by our students, and this is one of the activity which like kids just love. We created this catapult using the Lego, and they had assembly instructions. There was a competition. 2 teams did it, and this team won. And ultimately, through this, they basically learned that they have to throw it at a certain speed and with a certain angle to land it at a certain spot. So the concept of physics, robotics, in the same experiment.
Okay. And then the other one?
The other one was the one which I had sent.
The Google one?
Yeah, the Google one.
Is this it?
No. Not, it was the robotics one. If you don't mind.
Did you send that later?
Yeah, that's fine. Just show this one.
Okay.
This is, if you can enlarge it, yeah. Not full video, but it's still showing partial.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'll try to get it to, there we go.
So this is our center, and actually this video was created to show that how strictly are we following the CDC guidelines. I'm sorry the video is lagging a little bit, but yeah. So this is the lab I was talking about. All right.
Okay,
I
so
think that's
anybody
it,
else have any more questions?
Way,
Oops,
what you all know, but most
we
people
don't need Joe
know.
Biden.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
need Joe Biden now. It is not.
Except-
We are not endorsing anyone. No,
No.
political.
Anyone else? All right, well, thank you, Hitesh, so much for joining
Thank you,
us.
Kim. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yes, and if you guys, I will publish, well, I'll talk to Kim Monell. She's out of the office right now, right, John? She's on vacation this week, but I will get this video sent out so that everybody can review it that wasn't able to make it. And also the slideshow so that you have Hitesh's contact information.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Your hard work.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you both.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
You
You too.
too.